ROXY Jacenko.
Excited to be here.
PR Queen, some people will call you. So the way I look at you, you have been on your own as an individual in business for all your life.
Yes.
So to be where you are today, it has to be a huge and long journey. You have learned a lot.
Huge and hard.
No shit. You had your ups, you had your downs. You had cancer.
Yes. Husband went to jail.
And you're still smiling today. And you were smiling 3 years ago, you were smiling 5 years ago, you were smiling 10 years ago.
Yes.
You clearly know you are a very influential person. And there's so many people that are looking up to you.
It's a funny one. I mean, I don't know that I'd say I'm influential. I guess what I have always tried to portray is that, you know, I was a shocking student at school and I didn't do well in my HSC. I never got into uni. I never finished my TAFE course. But what I had was work ethic and I had that dedication to want to succeed and also randomly to make my parents proud. So even though I didn't have the smarts, I knew I needed to make something of myself, and no matter how not book smart I was, as long as I dedicated, you know, hard work, I gave everything 200%, I could actually make something of myself. So I guess I don't look at myself as influential. I guess I look at myself as, okay, well, I'm the poster girl for, you don't have to be the book smart person in school to be able to succeed in your life. As long as you've got work ethic, you're willing to take risks, then, you know, the world's your oyster. And it doesn't matter whether there's ups, downs, backwards, sideways. I mean, I've done it all. I still do it all to this day in terms of aggravation, of running the business on a day-to-day basis on my own. Obviously, I've got staff, but it's still down to me at the end of the day. You know, the bottom line comes down to me. It's more so that work ethic, the determination, the drive is what I want to be the poster girl for. Not, I don't necessarily want to be an inspiration. I just want to show everyone that, you know, no matter who you are or what you are.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Being your age that you are now,
I'm
20,
now old.
20.
I'm now old.
No, but you have life experience.
Yeah.
And all your life, and being in business, it's always go to the next thing, go, deal with problems, deal with issues. Being in position where you are now, do you ever breathe?
No breathing. No. And you know, actually someone texted me the other day, a friend of mine, and he's like, do you just want to watch TV? And I'm like, no, I put the TV on for the noise.
Are you going to watch this back?
I'm definitely watching this after you've revealed my actual age. No, look, you know, I think I don't want to breathe. I think we've got, when we retire, to breathe. For now, I think the person who takes their hand off the pulse, the person who isn't in there running their business, working as a team member, not a senior person in the business, is the one who loses their way. I mean, today in the news, there was a classic example of that. You know, a very well-known leather brand, the Daily Edited. I don't know if you've ever read about that. It was a huge business. They were the first to do monogramming on leather goods. It's in liquidation now. Now, that business was the top of the top. But all of a sudden, the business partners broke up. One was more behind the scenes than on the front foot, and bang, they're you know,
if
liquidated.
You don't keep your eye on the ball.
That's right. You know, I'm a train driver, and I have to drive the train every day. If I don't drive the train every day, the train is late, and you've got one go. If I lose that customer today, they tell their friend, and that friend says, "Oh well, I wouldn't go to her. This is what happened to them." So no, I don't want to breathe. I've got plenty of time for that. When I'm like 80, I'll breathe and play bingo.
I'm not going to be playing bingo with you. That's freaking too boring. I don't want to breathe. If that's called breathing. But quite often, I sit back for a minute. Not that I breathe.
Yeah.
And I look at my journey. And with your life journey, there's so much knowledge in your head that you have gained throughout the years.
Yes.
So looking back, and I'm going to start with this question today. And there is, I'm sure there's a younger version of yourself called ROXY that's 18 years old. And if you're looking back, I think that little ROXY would be saying, we did okay.
Yeah.
We did a freaking really okay, right?
Yeah.
But if you had to tell that ROXY something today, hey, there is 20 years ahead of you.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Yeah.
What would you tell her?
Don't do it. Run! You know, look, at 18, I mean, I'd worked since I was 14. I'd worked at McDonald's from 14 to 18.
Training.
Yeah, amazing training, policies and procedures that they have as a business. I mean, like, it sounds ridiculous, but even knowing which bag fits 4 items, what bag fits 6 items. It's all of those menial things you think don't matter that do matter. It all makes up for a successful business. Would I do it again? You know, it's interesting. I have had huge successes. I mean, there is no question that I probably would have made more money than any other PR person in Australia in a boutique agency. But that's because I was always on the front foot. I was always looking at what's next, what's next. What will the person next to me not do that I'm willing to take the risk?
Especially in the time where everything's moving so fast.
Correct.
I mean, you know, being a PR agent or company 40 years ago was so cruisy. Not much will change next year.
Well, you'd have a press release and a fax machine and you'd send it out to your
And
redial
fantastic.
number, bang, your job was done.
Nobody chasing you like me over Instagram saying, hey.
No, you know, it's a different landscape now. I made money that was impossible to have been made. People were thinking, they were like, how is she doing it? It's not possible. I'm like, well, you're not looking at what I'm doing. You know, while everyone else is issuing a press release, I was a person down on Bondi Beach, lining the beach with 1,000 umbrellas with the customer logo. Illegally, of course, but hey, you get the fine, it's $500. Thank you very much. The
They
client
get
thinks you're a rock star.
$500,000 worth of business, everybody's happy.
Correct. So, you know, I took the risks that no one else was willing to take. I am very fortunate. I've never been in a position where shit's gone absolutely south and I've lost money. The only money I've ever lost is by not being on top of my debtors. As any young person who starts business probably doesn't realise is, you know, it's all well and good to say you're bringing in money monthly, but if the person's actually not paying that invoice you're issuing, you're actually bringing in nothing.
Correct.
So, I mean, I've been very lucky, but at the same time, I shouldn't really use the word lucky.
It's still a hard journey because running any kind of business is not easy. Nobody can tell me it's easy.
No, and you know, there's been times I remember I've wanted to smack my head against, at the time it was a marble desk, now it's Laminex. Times have changed, thank you COVID. But I literally want to smack my head against the table because
I think you got a thick head full of energy will break the table.
Literally,
so don't do it here, it'll cost me
why
too
am I
much.
doing this? Like, why am I doing this? Do I need a Birkin room? Do I need a Ferrari? Do I need, you know, a Porsche? Do I want all of this? Is this pain that I suffer every day? Forget Instagram. Is it worth it? But my life took a very quick turn. You know, I went from being a 24-year-old PR person with over 102 brands at one point in time, with retainers that started at sort of $6,000 a month to $20,000 a month for, you know, large global organizations. Then I got cancer. Then my husband went to jail. No, my husband went to jail and then I got cancer. And you really quickly start to reassess, okay, shit, is this really all worth it? Well, yes, it is, because I've got 2 children. I have to ensure that they are given, you know, the fortunate upbringing that I was with good schooling, etc.
Plus, you love living.
And I've got expensive taste.
Not just that, I think you love living.
You know, I'm probably the biggest recluse you'll ever meet. Even as you know, to get me here, I don't find this easy. I can turn it on because that's my job. I'm a PR person. But at the same time, I don't, you know, people can go out and stand on a stage and give a keynote speech and they love it. I don't love it. I'm very much that girl who is in PR but doesn't like going to a party. You know, it's a weird thing. But at the same time, it's afforded me an amazing life. It's afforded my children opportunities to travel, have a good schooling, etc. And it also meant that when I was in a situation where I had cancer and my husband was in jail, I could live. Because if I didn't have a job, if I didn't have somewhere to go every day and to, you know, be around great people and rely on, you know, the camaraderie of a team, I mean, I would probably have been off the gap. In real terms, you know, you go from living in this amazing house to the AFP taking the money for the house. You know, not having a home, having to go and rent, but you've owned property since you were 21 and all of a sudden it's gone. So, you know, would I do it again? Yes, I probably would because I'm a sucker for punishment. And if it's hard, I generally do it. If it's easy, I choose not to do it. But it's not been easy. And, you know, yes, I will portray a glossy exterior, but every day is a challenge, as it is for any small business owner. And I am a small business owner. I've made good money because I run it myself, I run it tight, and I run it very lean. But it's fucking hard. Every day is hard. And add to hard of running a business being under the public scrutiny.
Every move you make,
Every
somebody's
move.
watching.
If I dissolve the filler in my lips, you will know. So now I've learned to go, okay, well, here I am. Yes, I've done it. My hair's fake, my lips are fake, my boobs are fake, and I got a new nose. Just tell them, because if I don't tell them, then there's a story about, oh, well, she used to look like this in 1998, but now she mysteriously looks like this. So, I mean, would I do it again? I would probably do it again. Yes, I would, because I haven't got the smarts to be a lawyer or a barrister or a dentist.
You make way more money than most of them, I can tell you.
Probably. And, you know, it got me through some of the most challenging times of my life, and without the stability of having my businesses that I do have, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
What are the challenges that people will be facing if they are starting today? Because today, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And everybody also wants to have that Ferrari
Yes.
today,
Yes.
not in 10, 20 years when they
Yes.
have to really fucking be
Yes.
punished by
Yes.
life.
Yes.
What challenge do you think people will have if they're starting something today?
You know, I'm always very honest, and this is whenever I do any speaking, I talk to any up-and-coming entrepreneur, and that is that don't think because it's your business you're going to be the person pointing and telling people what to do. You are going to be in there. You are going to be the first to arrive and the last to leave if you want it to be successful, number one. Number two...
10 days a week.
Literally 10 days a week, 24 hours a day. I get home from work at 6 p.m. sharp every night, because that's when the children's babysitter finishes.
But your mind never switches
Well,
off.
I say to the housekeeper, I say I'm ready for my shift 2 now. And my shift 2 is open my laptop, sit in my bed and start carrying on my day.
It's probably when you're most creative, no distractions.
And also, it just means that then I start my day the next day, clear, ready to fire. You know, this mentality of, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do this. Well, if there's 50 body scrubs out there, don't be doing another one unless there is a huge point of difference. I think that's the biggest thing about entrepreneurs. Everyone has great ideas, but unless there's a point of difference to what everybody else is doing, what's the point in even doing it? You know, you don't just want to join them. You've got to have an edge. And I guess for me, my edge was I started a PR company and I was a disruptor. I didn't follow a press release route to get to media because I couldn't write a press release. So I started writing news snippets, and I'd send them out, and I'd do lots of different ones rather than sending it to 300 people the same thing. I'd do like 10 different ones, and I'd get 10
but
pieces
also
of
at
media.
the same time, I would call you what I would call a naked person.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, in my head office,
Yeah.
10,000 people walk past every day.
Yeah.
And I don't know who walks past,
Yeah.
right? But if there's a one butt naked person
Yes.
that walks past
You're gonna
my
remember
office,
them.
we're going to be talking about them. We might call them idiots, we might
Yes.
call them hot, we might call them
Yes.
whatever we want to
Yes.
call them. But there was a naked person, walked past the window. And I feel like all your life you have been that naked person who's been out there with
Yes.
whatever you were creating
Yes.
that stands out, not being
But for
normal,
a
traditional.
reason. And you know, I think that's the biggest thing. You know, people have always said, oh, you know, do you want to be famous? I'm like, no, I'd rather be rich than famous. But at least I've become known for a craft. I
Correct.
haven't become known because you caught me in the bathroom with a football player, or,
Yes.
you know, I was in the shower with someone's husband. You don't know me for that. You know me for being the girl who started at McDonald's, worked at Diesel as a receptionist, started a PR company, and then kept evolving. What was next? What was next? What was
Which
next?
is interesting. I think
But you do know me for lots of other naughty things. But hey, look, someone's got to do it.
somebody's got to do it.
And you've got to stay relevant.
But also, which is interesting, you just said that, because whatever you're doing and whatever you're doing that is really good, that's really right for
Yeah.
public eye,
Yeah.
there's also going to be so much negativity because people can turn anything any way they want, right?
It's all clickbait.
And with
Yeah.
you, because you are so loud, and anybody, this is interesting, anybody that is taking a road in life where they're going to be in spotlight, how the fuck did you keep that strong mindset and not be affected every day? Because most people that are in a spotlight, doesn't matter whatever you're doing, there's so many haters that will want to bury you in
Oh,
every
every
way.
day.
But I feel like you are bulletproof with your mindset, and you don't see it as anything. But a lot of people are affected. A lot
You
of people
know-
are suicidal these days
Oh,
because of that.
100%, you know-
So what advice
Yeah.
would you actually give somebody to say, hey, how can you have Roxy's crazy head
The,
and not be
the
affected?
mindset that it doesn't matter that it's water off a duck's back. You know, it's something you learn. I'm not going to say to you at 24 when they started writing articles that I wasn't like, oh my God, Mum, look what they've written. I was. there was a particular journalist who's become a very close friend of mine now. And he used to write the most revolting
Make sure when he's
stuff.
at your house, give him the cheapest wine these days. Punish him somehow.
Exactly. He's become a really dear friend to me, but he used to write the nastiest stuff. And I'm like, I'm just trying to do my job. I'm just trying to be good at what I do. I'm trying to do something different.
And when you're working 18 hours a day and somebody's punishing you for it, you're like, really?
And, I used to read, her parents gave her money. It's not true. She didn't do this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm in here morning, noon and night. You learn it. I'm not going to say to you that at 24, I was like, hard as nails, water off a duck's back. What they write doesn't matter. Of course, it did. It started to niggle at me. When I got cancer, I was compared to, if you ever remember, there was that lady called Belle Gibson, and she pretended she had cancer to sell books.
Yes.
I was in the media compared to her.
Yes.
Like as though I said, hey, I've got cancer.
In bed, knowing what's going to happen.
And you're pretending like I don't have cancer. That got me down. But what I've learned is this. What all of that media has done, I won't accept press that says, you're a pretender, you don't have cancer. That is out of order. People die from it, and I fought that from a defamatory, on a defamatory basis. But when it's just shit that they write, which has no meaning, I do look at it as water off a duck's back. But that's because I'm 42 now. It took until I was probably 30 to work like that and to think like that. It's kept me relevant. It's kept me as the only PR girl that you will know. The 5 books that I've got, I don't even read fucking books. Guess what?
I have actually, one time, a few years ago, there's a book you've written, pink cover.
Yes, Roxy's little black book.
Correct. So I was flying, and I had 4 or 5 friends with me.
Yeah.
And we were in business class, and they're looking at me. There I am reading a
pink
fucking book. I was like, guys, don't ask, I'm learning.
But you see, all of that there was
but also
method to my
strategically,
madness.
if my book was, white color, they
wouldn't
wouldn't
have picked
notice it. They wouldn't notice
Correct.
it either. So even
Correct.
so you're obviously strategic.
Yeah,
when
that's
it comes
exactly
to,
right.
When
It
it comes to
popped.
that.
You saw it when you looked on the shelf and you unfocused your eyes at all of these books. What one did you see? You saw mine. It's the same with doing SAS on Channel 7 for fucking 6 hours. It's the same with doing Celebrity Apprentice. Do I want to do all of that? No, not necessarily. Do I like the nastiness that comes with it with the media? I don't love it, but guess what? It's why I'm sitting here today. It's why I'm the one that people will call when they need to do an influencer marketing campaign, a PR
I was
campaign.
actually watching one of the shows when you were exercising or competing, whatever it was called.
SAS.
Yes. I was like,
I think I won the award for the shortest reality TV.
I would pass the fuck out because I'm
personality.
thinking to myself, I smoke about 3-4 cigarettes every morning. I don't do any exercise, and if I had to go there, I would just quit. And I'm not a quitter.
and nor am I. And for me, that was one of the worst things that I was written about in the media as I'm a quitter. That's one thing that I'm not. And I think my whole career has told that story. That no matter how hard it gets, you keep going. Unfortunately, I'd fractured my pelvis and my hip 6 weeks before that show, riding a horse for Stan for the show Yellowstone. And
which is,
I still did the show because you know what I thought? I thought, I don't want to be a quitter. Just because I've got a fractured pelvis and a hip.
Hey, I don't normally watch TV, but Yellowstone, I actually watch.
Well,
I think
people
it's
love it. I have to tell you, I haven't watched it since I fractured my pelvis and my hip. But you see, that's the thing. You cannot be a quitter. I don't care how hard it is. You have to keep going.
What does never give up means to Roxy?
Failure is not a possibility. And you knew that, as you told me in your story, that no matter how hard it was for you at the age of 30, when you were developing and then the person you were working went under and so did you, you didn't think to yourself, woe is me, let me go and sit and cry in the corner. You went, okay, well, failure is not an option. All of the fancy stuff is gone, but how now do we move forward and power through this? It's as simple as that. You've got responsibilities. Your parents gave you a nice upbringing. They brought you to Australia. You need to do them proud. You keep fucking going. Failure is not an option. And I don't care when people say, oh, but it doesn't matter if you fail. I do think it's important. Failure is not an option. You pick yourself up, doesn't matter how hard it is, and you keep going. Because no one's going to do it for you.
No, you have to.
Unless they marry you.
No. How important is energy? Your energy, if I'm having a bad day, which I never let myself have a bad day because I'm on this planet with limited time and I'm not fucking wasting it, right? So your energy, I like to think you've got crazy energy.
Yeah.
I think you're just crazy.
Oh,
in a good way.
I think you might be right.
In a good way. And I think, you know, I have been actually watching you for a long time.
Yeah.
And your energy is up there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing age 10, age 20, age 30.
Yeah.
And today.
Yeah.
How do you keep that energy high every day?
I don't know any different. You know, I think that I have got a responsibility that's to make sure the business is successful, that I have to be there, I have to be a worker, I have to be a mother, I have to be a wife. I don't think about it. It's what I am. I guess it starts also when it's an upbringing thing. You know, when I was young, I used to go to my parents' work every afternoon after school and I'd help them with the phones or I'd help my dad in the cutting room. It was always instilled with me that you're up, you get it done, you know, you can't, oh, I'm tired, too tired.
Do you ever get tired?
Cry me a fucking river. No. Do I get tired? Like, I might be tired. Have another coffee, get yourself out the door. It's as simple as that. You know, the energy thing is a desperation to succeed. And also, and I will reference this again, you know, I've got this obsession with making my mother proud. You know, because she gave me such a good schooling and I fucked it. Okay, well, how now can she look at me and go, wow, look what she's made of herself. And that's what I want. And that's why the energy stays high. The enthusiasm is always there. When you want to cry, go and stand in the fucking shower. Not that I do cry. I mean, it's very rare that I do cry. But maybe if they turn me away at the door of Hermes. But
that's actually interesting you just said.
You know, I don't cry because what's that going to solve? Pick yourself up and keep going. And the energy is there because I want to succeed. A slovenly person who's slouched in their chair and, you know, is a bit tired and will get to work when they get to work and doesn't have wants and desires, of course their energy is low. I've got lots of wants and desires, no matter whether I'm 14 or 42. I've got a lot to do. And you need energy and you need enthusiasm to do that.
One of my close friends, he's in his 70s.
Yeah.
He's actually one of my best friends. We play chess quite often together. He just sold his company for $2.7 billion.
Is he looking for a wife?
Actually, he is. He actually is, and he's more fit than I am. Freaking rides bicycle like 100 kilometers.
Well, I can't ride a bike, but I can be there to provide the oranges and water at the end.
Oh, there you go. He might need it. And one advice that he always gives me, and we actually go fishing together as well out of all things we do, and he always says to me, Emil, energy is very crucial, but what's even more important that you keep it age 20, age 30, age 40, age 50, and not beat yourself up and burn out and then you're like flour without water.
It's really funny that word burn out to me because, you know, some people are like, you're going to burn out. I can burn out when I'm 80. Right now, that is not an option. Keep on the straight line and keep going.
So, one thing you said, anybody can have an idea. I mean,
Yeah.
two of us can think of 100 ideas over the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And not do anything about it. So people that have a great idea and want to start whatever it is, marketing and PR clearly is important.
Yes.
To get any business out, people need to know whatever it
Yes.
is. What advice would you give anybody starting their own business when it comes to one word, marketing?
Social media. You know, I think now it's become something that in years gone by, you needed me. Now, as a startup,
I still need you.
You can that Lamborghini Spider, I'll wear a hat, I'll be looking marvelous in it. What I'd say is from a startup perspective, you don't have capital. You know, whatever you're doing, you need to inject the money that you've got into the business to keep it going, get it up, etc. Because of social media now, we've got the ability, no matter whether we've got marketing or PR experience, to talk to a community of people all around the world. That was not something they had when I started PR. Instagram didn't exist. Snapchat, TikTok, they didn't exist. It was MySpace, and certainly weren't, you know, sharing ideas. It was a chat program. So what I'd say now is that, you know, these startups that want to go out and spend $6,000 a month on PR, Wait for the first 6 months. Find your feet. Perfect your offering. Do it yourself in the beginning. I mean, it's a very, very easy thing to do from a startup perspective using social media. It's how you found me, and in days gone by, you couldn't do that because we didn't have that plethora of different options. Now we do. And, carefully curated content using an iPhone. I mean, half of the stuff that we post on my daughter's toy business website is iPhone shots. So, gone are the days of needing necessarily a professional photography studio, etc. If you're a startup, you can do things in a lean fashion while you get some dollars through the till. And then when you get to, say, month 6, you can start looking at how to invest and grow it in terms of PR and marketing.
That's actually good advice for anybody. Doesn't matter how big or small
the
business
is. And I won't take the money because you know what? When you're a brand new brand and you haven't got that money in the bank, you need it for your inventory. You need it for your staff. Keep it. Do it in-house. I mean, I still do all of my own Instagram accounts. I don't have someone else doing it.
I know. You actually, when I was talking to you,
if I can do it, so can every fucking other person. Let's be serious. This arm's length approach of, I go to a lovely beauty salon where I do my nails and she's got someone who does her Instagram. I'm like, huh?
And your business is so much bigger than hers. And
do it yourself. You've got the customers in there. Take the picture while they're there. Don't be afraid of going and doing it. A candle business that I've got, right? I needed to pour candles. I didn't know how to do it, and my manufacturer is actually in the Gold Coast. And I needed to pour more because we couldn't keep up with the demand.
So you're actually making your candles?
I taught myself from YouTube.
You know what's interesting? I grew up in a country that was affected by civil war.
Yeah.
And at age 11, there was no electricity for 4 or 5 years.
So you learned to make candles?
I learned how to sell candles.
Oh, well, I can make them, you can sell them.
That's exactly what I was doing for a few years so family can survive.
Yes.
And that's where I get my work ethic and learn the hustle of
yes.
life.
Yeah.
Full stop, which is interesting you just said that. Looking back now,
yeah.
do you ever take time for yourself and say, I'm actually proud of myself? I never did that because I'm always chasing fucking next thing. But one thing that I do, I know where I am today. And a lot of times when we are just going, like you are a car with no brake going down the fucking hill.
I'm the 8112 super fast.
Yes. Oh, don't talk about that now. I'm in trouble with that one already today. But you feel like, we are constantly a car down the hill, no brakes, and just going. Do you ever just stop back and say, hey, I know I'm fucking good and it feels great and I'm taking that minute to myself?
No. Because I think the second you do that is the second you become complacent and then the second that the competition slides in. For me, I guess the only time I feel enthusiastic, not proud, enthusiastic. I'll give you an example. Yesterday I said to our accountant, okay, what were our billings for the Ministry of Talent in September 2021 versus the billings for September 22? And it was 4 times. Now, in September 2021, I had 4 staff, which I was paying, let's say, an average salary of $70,000, $65,000, $70,000. September 2022, guess who the staff are? And I'm times 4 the billings. So that's the only time I go, fuck, I'm good. But I don't ever go, sit back, I'm proud of that.
So you just...
Because I don't want to become complacent. The reward for me is a materialistic things. It's buy the new Bentley. It's, book a private jet rather than go up the back on Qantas. They're my rewards. Yeah, well, sorry. I'm going to become an expensive friend. But they're not proud, they're my rewards
I do the same
for
thing.
Burning the candle at the end, at both ends.
So at least, you know what, I have worked hard, I've been creative, and this is my little reward, but I'm going to keep going now.
Yeah.
In style, driving a Bentley.
And the other thing that I'll say to you is this, and I was actually pushing the girl who sits next to me. She keeps talking about this Audi, and I'm like, well, fucking buy it. Because I almost want her to be in the position where she's like, fuck, I have to work harder. I have to be more, I have to have more vision. Because I guess for me when I was young, it was like, okay, I wanted a Mercedes, I got one. Then that burning desire made me work harder because after a Mercedes, I wanted a Ferrari. So it's almost like you want to say, it's good to have debt because the debt's going to make you want to work harder and want more and more. And the more you want, the harder you work.
I feel like that you really have
I'm a raving lunatic, you're about to say.
You're a good mind reader.
Yeah.
No, I think you love living. I think you love breathing the air every day, and I don't think you like wasting time.
No.
Quite often I say to people, tomorrow is the day that you never lived before.
Yes.
Give it all.
Yes.
And I feel like you got no handbrake when it comes to that. Now, you know, you got no handbrake because you just love living tomorrow and day after.
Yeah.
You're just excited by the next day.
It's like a game. Let's go. We play to win.
What it is with ladies,
Yeah.
and men are different in with different toys. What it is with the ladies and Birkins. I actually had one of the ladies from my office has asked me to ask you this, and if I didn't,
you'd be in trouble.
I would be in trouble. Clearly, you have few.
Just a few that I don't use. I
How
came
many
here without a
Birkins do you
handbag.
have? Is that a
About 27.
about 20? Who is
What
counting?
is it about? It's
Yes.
about no one can get it, and what I can't get is what I want. I don't use them.
And it's a good investment.
Yeah, I mean, I've made some serious profit from them, but at the same time, it's this whole mentality of the harder it is, the more I want. And it's an amazing business philosophy for them because people are queuing up outside only to be turned away when they get in after an hour of standing in the rain. So for me, it was a sense of achievement. Bought the first one, I'm like, oh my God, you know, this is awesome. I've worked so hard, I've got an $18,000 handbag. You know, I went to
If
Paris.
you can buy one now, you'd be doing really well.
Oh, well,
for
that's
18,000.
exactly right. That's exactly right. So for me, it was the hardest thing to get. It was a status thing that I thought, you know what? No one thought I could fucking do this, and look, I've proved you wrong. And that's not about buying the bag. That's about succeeding in business. Because I wasn't the smart girl. I was the cross-eyed student at Kambala who failed every subject. But I proved them wrong. And it wasn't, it was more about, okay, well, you can't get them. I'm going to get the hardest thing it is to get. So then I just kept buying them. And then I don't use them.
Roxy.
But the room looks good. And if you're a buyer, I know how to do a deal.
I actually I might steal ideas from your room. I'm in the middle of the building a house now. And there's so many ladies
Yeah.
and men that do look up to you, and there's so much you can offer, right? Because you went from McDonald's
Yeah.
to me chasing you around Australia,
Yeah.
actually around the world half of the time, for you to be sitting here. And obviously for me to be chasing you, to be sitting here, I like to think you got so much to offer.
Yeah.
What is that one piece of advice you can give people about fucking life journey?
That it's not going to be easy. And anyone who you see on social media and everything's fantastic, it's a fucking hard journey. You know, I think I'm the poster girl for it. And I said that when we started, that don't think, because I've got those fancy, shiny things and I've got the watches and I've got the cars and the nice house. Every day is hard. Every day is, you know, I pack every single fucking order that we send. Why? Because I'm obsessed with perfection. You know, you can't walk out as an entrepreneur and think, oh, well, I'm going to hire the person who's the best at this and the person who's the best at that, and it's all going to miraculously happen. It's not going to fucking happen. It's not going to happen unless you are the person there breathing down their neck saying, where are we at with this? Did we do that? What was the ETA on this? We're supposed to go live on the 15th. Today's the 14th. Where is it? You can't rely. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I've never relied on anyone. And it's probably a hard thing for people to hear. I've got a wonderful team, but I am not leaving it just to them to hope that it's going to get done, because it's not necessarily going to get done. And it all falls back on you. It's the same with my marriage. I was never reliant on my husband in terms of financials or being there. And it was, touch wood, that I wasn't, because if I was, where would I be today? My children wouldn't be in the school they're in. I mean, I hate to think. So don't rely. That's the biggest thing. Be a doer and don't rely. Be willing to literally do everything. I mean, I refill the fucking toilet rolls. Yes, there's people for that, but if they need doing, isn't it easier for me to put it down there than go and ring someone and tell them to do it? Be a doer, don't rely. And that's all it really takes. It's definitely not rocket science. I'm the poster girl for it. Don't ask me a sum right now because I can't do it. Pass me my phone and give me a calculator.
Roxy, thank you.
Thank you.